So, to no surprise, it appears the New York Jets plan to release Alan Lazard. And of course, not surprising at all, since a big reason why he came to New York in the first place is all because of Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers was playing, he did look pretty good with him, but without Aaron Rodgers, Lazard didn't really look like an NFL wide receiver. He really didn't do anything with Zach Wilson a year ago, and he signed a pretty big contract with the Jets, so definitely a no-brainer move to let go of Alan Lazard. I'm curious to see where he will end up and what his market will be like. A potential reunion in Green Bay, I could see that, maybe. Aaron Glenn is really cleaning house, and I definitely like all the moves he is planning to make. Obviously, moving on from Aaron Rodgers, moving on from Alan Lazard, and probably going to move on from Davante Adams. Just really start a new era in New York, and that's definitely the correct thing to do. There was a lot of discussion of Aaron Rodgers staying and some of these guys staying so that Aaron Glenn could have a somewhat competitive team, but you know, if you really take a look at what Dan Campbell did with the Lions, yes, he had Jared Goff his first year, but those teams are really brutal the first 2 years of Dan Campbell's start there in Detroit. And I kind of expect the same thing for the New York Jets. And I feel like most franchises, you have to start from the ground up. You know, it's pretty rare that we see an amazing first year of a long rebuild like the Washington Commanders. So I definitely like the approach Aaron Glenn has in mind, absolutely. And I hope it works out for him because he seems like a pretty cool guy, seems like a nice guy. I love his passion, and I'm excited to see how they play this year. I think the defense will definitely be a lot better. It's just kind of crazy how things transpired a year ago. You know, Robert Saleh put together some pretty good defenses in his time with the Jets, and then he gets canned by week 4, and then interim head coach comes in, Albright, and the defense just goes to crap. So I still think this defense could be a top-end unit, but we'll have to see what happens. I'm curious, if you were Aaron Glenn, what would you do? Would you keep Alan Lazard and Davante Adams, or do you agree with him to just clean house and just start from the ground up and just truly rip it all down? Let me know in the comments below. Now, the biggest thing for the Jets is, as of right now, they definitely don't have a quarterback that is capable of starting for 17 games on the roster right now. So that's definitely a big need for them. Now, there is a report that if the Steelers don't sign Justin Fields could potentially go to New York. I don't really like this move. I just don't think Justin Fields is the guy to bring in to the Jets. You know, I just feel like he needs to go to like a smaller market team or a team with just like a lot less attention to really grow. I don't think he would do well under the lights in New York, but that's just me. But who knows? It's not terrible. I mean, I would definitely rather have Justin Fields as my quarterback than Aaron Rodgers at this point. But, you know. You also still have Jordan Travis on the roster, but apparently he's still going through some injuries right now. So, again, not really a reliable starter for the Jets. And Tyrod Taylor was the QB2 for the Jets a year ago. I would imagine he would definitely be in play to maybe step up, but yeah, man, it's probably going to be a rough season for the Jets in 2025, and I know that's nothing new for Jets fans, but at the same time, if they could just show some glimmers of hope on the offensive side, and, you know, maybe there's some reports that Aaron Glenn is really resetting the culture of the Jets and the locker room, then I think that's all you could really ask for as a Jets fan. for the year 2025, because playoffs, competing, I don't really think that's in the cards for them. But if they could just have a good defense, Aaron Glenn resets the culture like Dan Campbell did in Detroit. Like, he has the blueprint and he learned from Dan Campbell firsthand. So if anybody is going to fix the Jets, I feel like Aaron Glenn has a pretty good shot at doing so. Ben Johnson also would have been a good candidate too, to turn them around if they had a quarterback, but they obviously did not. So, I'm not really sure how Jets fans are feeling right now. I'm sure the majority of them are excited that Aaron Rodgers is no longer on the team. But if I was a Jets fan, I'd be feeling cautiously optimistic about Aaron Glenn. But that's just me. So if you're a Jets fan, let me know how you're feeling going forward with Aaron Glenn and just going into the 2025 season. What are your expectations? Are you hopeful, or are you just in complete despair right now and just worn out? Let me know in the comments below. As far as the draft, there are some intriguing quarterbacks to look out for that the Jets might target in the middle rounds of the draft. Maybe Dart, maybe Quinn Ewers. Again, not really high caliber guys, but if you don't have a quarterback, I just think every team that does not have a franchise guy should always draft a quarterback in every single draft until you find your guy. I don't know why most teams don't do that. It's the most important position in all of sports, and if you don't have your franchise QB, keep drafting a guy, keep finding like a diamond in the rough. Even if you end up taking a guy and he ends up being a guy like Brock Purdy, you could win playoff games with Brock Purdy, and you got to start somewhere in order to win a Super Bowl, right? And of course you have to make the playoffs first. So I feel like if you could draft a guy, find a diamond in the rough somewhere, and just keep swinging at the quarterback position the next 2-3 years in the upcoming drafts, I feel like the New York Jets will eventually find a quarterback to take them back to the playoffs. Of course, they have the longest playoff drought of any current NFL team right now. Haven't been there since 2010. So, been a hot minute. And the fact that every year in the NFL, there's always 4 new playoff teams, the fact that it's been 15 years for the Jets is just crazy. Yeah, man, I'm optimistic about Aaron Glenn, but you let me know if I'm being a little bit too positive, and let me know what you think about Allen Lazard, Devontae Adams, and everything else in between. If you made this far, please subscribe, like the video, help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
Always taught to look down the field. If there's nobody open, throw it to the drag route coming across the field. That time they did it. It's just short of getting the first down. Look at Fowler make the play on the quarterback. Well, that time the quarterback is sacked on the 3rd down, and that's bad. But the good thing is he did not try to force the football down the field and get the turnover. That'll be a touchback, and the ball will be placed at the 20. Phil, this quarterback matchup has been a great one today, as both have put on quite a show. Yeah, it's been a great matchup between the quarterbacks, and look, I think the league is low. The Jaguars defense brings in an extra member of the secondary. They'll go nickel. It's wide open. The Jets just picked up a big first down that time, Jim. When you're down in the second half, every first down is crucial. Nice job that time by the offense. 1st and 10. He climbs the ladder and has it. Powell's tackled right at the 20. That's a good job by the receiver running the drag route across the field.